Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to share a very special story with you. It's about a conversation I had with a language expert I really admire. This person knows over 20 languages. I learned so much from talking to them, especially about a problem many of us have, feeling insecure about our accents in English. I used to feel the same way, so I think this story will really help you. If you're new here, remember, you can always pause the video to practice. Learning English is a journey, so let's enjoy it together. In our chat, my friend told me a bit about their life. They live in a beautiful city, they're passionate about learning languages, and they even created a website to help people like us. Right now, they are learning 2 very interesting languages. It reminded me that we are all students, always learning something new. It's so inspiring. My own English has improved a lot since we last spoke a year ago, and I was excited to get more tips to share with you. One of the biggest questions I get from you is about accents. Many of you say, I feel so insecure about my accent. Should I change it? Do native speakers judge me? I asked my friend this exact question. I remember when I first started learning English, I was so embarrassed by my accent. I thought, I need to sound exactly like a native speaker. That was my motivation, but it was a negative feeling. It took me a long time to change my thinking. My friend had a great answer. They said that in many places, like where they live, there are people from all over the world with different accents. Most people are not so concerned about your accent. They might be a little curious about where you are from, but that's usually all. What is more important is how well you use the language. Are you using the right words? Can you express your ideas clearly? This is what people notice more than your accent. They explained that we learn to use words correctly through a lot of exposure. That means listening and reading a lot. When we hear how native speakers use the language, our brain slowly picks up the patterns. We start to speak in a more natural way. My friend has met many people from different countries who speak English very well, and they still have their accents. But their English is excellent because they use it well, so please don't worry too much about your accent. This advice was like a gift for me. It took me years to accept that I will always have a little trace of my first language in my English. And that is okay. People might notice I'm not a native speaker, but they can understand me perfectly. My friend even said to me, "You speak so well, I wouldn't know exactly where you're from." That was such a nice compliment. It's proof that good communication is the real goal. Let me pause our story for a moment to share a quick tip that helps me organize my learning. When you study, it's great to use tools like mind maps. They help you remember vocabulary and grammar rules much better. I like to use simple online tools to create them. It makes studying more fun and visual. You can find many free templates for things like verb tenses or new vocabulary lists. It really helps to see the connections between words. Okay, let's get back to our story. So we were talking about using words correctly. Another great question I often get is, I learn new words, but how can I be sure I'm using them correctly? Will it sound weird? This is a very common worry. I remember a student of mine asked me this just last week. They had learned many new words but were afraid to use them in a conversation. The answer, again, is exposure and patience. My friend compared our brain to a smart computer. The more good language data you give it, by listening and reading, the better it becomes at choosing the right words. You can't force it. It's a gradual process. You might use a word incorrectly sometimes, but that's okay. The person you are talking with might use the correct word in their reply, and you will learn from that. This reminds me of a comment I saw on one of my videos about a difficult part of my native language. A native speaker said, "This is easy, we never think about the rules." And that's the point. They don't think about the rules because they have had a lifetime of exposure. As learners, we haven't had that much time yet, so we need to be patient with ourselves and trust the process of learning through listening and reading a lot. So, how do you get this exposure? It's simple. Listen to podcasts, watch movies, read articles about things you enjoy. Don't focus on complicated grammar rules at first. Just try to understand the main idea. Your brain is amazing. It will absorb the patterns naturally, even if you don't realize it. Learning should be fun, not stressful. If you feel tired, take a break. You can always come back to the video later. Now, let's talk about grammar. This is a big fear for many learners. When I started learning Spanish, I looked at all the grammar rules and I felt scared. There seemed to be so much to remember. I asked my friend for advice on this. Their answer was surprising. They said, get a small, simple grammar book. Read it once and then forget about it. Don't try to memorize all the rules. It's too much pressure. Instead, focus on getting a lot of input first. Listen and read as much as you can. Learn new words every day. After some time, you will naturally become curious about the grammar. For example, you might notice a verb form that keeps appearing. You'll think, why is it like that? Then, and only then, should you go back to that grammar book and look up the rule. Because you are curious, the rule will make more sense and you will remember it better. Every language has difficult parts, what my friend called junk code. But if you focus on understanding the language first and on communicating your ideas, the grammar will slowly become clearer. When you talk to people, you get instant feedback. You hear how they say things. This is the best way to learn correct grammar. It takes time, but it works. Be patient with yourself. You don't need to be perfect tomorrow. Today, we are very lucky. If you have a question about grammar or a word, you can just search for it online. It's so easy. If you are curious about how to use a verb, you can find the answer in 1 minute. But remember, looking it up once doesn't mean you have learned it forever. You will probably forget. That's normal. You just need to look it up again next time. Learning is a cycle of learning, forgetting, and relearning. Finally, I asked my friend about their motivation. Why do they learn so many languages? For them, it started with necessity, like for many of us. They needed French for school, then Chinese for a job. But after that, they discovered the joy of learning. With each new language, you discover a new culture, new people, and a new way of thinking. The world becomes more alive and more interesting. For example, they became interested in the Middle East, so they started learning Arabic and Persian. At first, the writing system looked like strange squiggles. They understood nothing. But after time and practice, they could understand podcasts and have conversations. That feeling of achievement is incredible. It's not just about necessity, it's about curiosity and the challenge. It makes life an adventure. I think this is a beautiful way to see language learning. It's not a difficult task you have to do. It's a fun journey you get to do. You open a door to a new world. So, if you feel tired of studying grammar, remember this story. Try to find the joy in learning. Watch a movie you love in English, listen to music, or talk about your hobbies. Make it enjoyable for you. My friend also warned me about something: long lists of idioms. You know, those videos that say, learn 50 idioms to sound like a native. Usually those idioms are not very common. You might never use them. The best way to learn idioms is to hear them in a real conversation. When you hear a native speaker use an idiom naturally, it has more meaning. It's connected to a real person and a real moment. That is when you will remember it. So, the key is to be an active listener. When you watch a TV show or talk to someone, pay attention to the little phrases they use. Don't worry about writing everything down. Just notice the patterns. Maybe you hear the same phrase 3 times in 1 week. Your brain will tell you, this is important. Learn this. This is how you learn the language that people actually use every day. Our conversation was coming to an end, and I felt so inspired. The main message was clear: trust the process. You don't need to learn everything at once. Start with what you can understand, and gradually your brain will build better habits. Communication is the goal, not perfection. If you can make someone understand you, that is a huge success. Be proud of every small step you take. So, what did I learn from this amazing chat? I learned that we should not be slaves to grammar books. Grammar is important, but it should not be the first thing you study. First, fall in love with the language. Listen to it, read it, enjoy it. When you are curious, then you can look at the grammar rules. This is a much more natural and effective way to learn. It's the method of a true polyglot, and I really believe in it. I hope this story gave you some new ideas and motivation for your English journey. Remember, it's your journey. Go at your own speed. Pause this video if you need to. Watch it again tomorrow. The most important thing is to keep going. Thank you so much for watching and learning with me today. I believe in you. You can do this. See you in the next video. Bye for now.